let's quickly begin the discussion. Here we go with the first question of the evening. The first question is now on your screen. The question has a timer of 20 seconds because when you will be appearing in your final phase 1 examination especially, you will get 20 seconds to attempt one question because you need to attempt 80 questions in just 25 minutes. So here we go. The first question: who has been temporarily appointed as India's nominee director on the IMF board in 2025 and he has replaced whom? So the answer to this particular question is the new appointment is given to P. Iyer and he has replaced whom, sir? He has replaced K. Subramaniam, and K. Subramaniam has been, I would say, removed from the position 6 months prior to the completion of the tenure. Moving on to the next question. The next question is now on your screen. The question says, who is leading the Indian delegation at 58th annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the Asian Development Bank in 2025? So who is going to lead it? Firstly, guys, yes, keeping in mind the current disturbances which are going in the country, still India's delegation has attended the annual meeting of the Board of Governors of the Asian Development Bank, which was the 58th meet, and it was headed by whom, sir? It was headed by none other than the finance minister of the country. The name is Nirmala Sitharaman. One more question, guys. This meeting has been organized in which country? So this meeting has been conducted in Italy, Milan, but where is the headquarter of ADB? So the headquarter of Asian Development Bank is in Philippines, Manila. Got it, guys? Moving on to the next question. Here's the next question on a very important concept which we have covered in the previous session, that is securitized debt instruments. I am switching on the timer now. Give me the answers, guys. Consider the following statement regarding the securitized debt instruments. Securitized debt instruments are created by pooling various debt instruments like loans, mortgages and receivables. That is true. The process of creating and selling the SDI is known as securitization. The process of creating and selling the SDI is known as securitization. That is also correct. Securitization helps banks convert liquid assets into illiquid ones? No, sir. Actually, it is helping the banks to convert illiquid assets into liquid. That means what they are doing is they are forwarding their loan to the public or to the buyers, and that generates liquidity for them, which is used for further operations. SDI provide investor return based on the performance of the underlying debt pool. That is absolutely correct. If you are buying an SDI, you will be getting the return according to what? So you will be getting the return according to the performance of underlying asset, that is the mortgaged asset or any other loan. Securitization offer banks an additional source of funding. That is absolutely correct. So the answer to this particular question is 1, 2, 4, 5 are correct. So 1, 2, 4, 5 are the correct answers. In that particular context, I'll go with which option? Sir, I'll go with B option. B option is absolutely correct, where 1, 2, 4 and 5 are the correct answers for the same. Moving on to the next question. The next question is again related to SDI, but now the technical, not the conceptual part, but now we have the question on the latest updates which have been done. So the question is now on your screen. The question says, which of the following statement regarding SEBI's, regarding SEBI's latest regulation on SDI is correct? First one, SEBI has mandated minimum investment threshold of 1 crore to all the SDI issuance, including RBI regulated as well as, one second guys, just give me a second. This is the question. So SEBI has mandated minimum investment threshold of 1 crore rupees for the SDI issuance. That is correct. All SDI must be issued and transferred only in dematerialized form, that is DMAT form. That is correct. Originators are now required to maintain minimum 20%. Is it minimum 20% of the securitized pool under the circumstances? No, sir. This is 10%. Public offers for SDI must remain open for at least 3 days and maximum for 10 days. That is also correct. SEBI has introduced an optional cleanup call allowing originators to repurchase up to 10% of the original value. That is correct. So answer to this particular question is 1, 2, 4 and 5. 1, 2, 4 and 5. That means B option is the correct answer. So B option is the correct answer. Moving on to the next question. The next question is again related to SEBI, one of the recent updates which have been done by SEBI in the past, that is related to the freezing the PAN cards or freezing the trading accounts of not only the designated personals but also their immediate relatives. In immediate relatives, we include their parents, siblings, as well as their spouse, as well as children. So parents, siblings, spouse and children are included in the category of immediate relatives. So in this case, we have 5 options. We need to choose which all options are correct. SEBI has extended the PAN based trading freezing mechanism to cover designated persons and their immediate relatives in the listed companies. That is absolutely correct. This move is basically to curb the insider trading. That is absolutely correct. The mechanism will be implemented in single phase. No sir, it will be implemented in 2 phases. Phase 1 will cover top 500 listed companies, which will be completed till 1st of October 2025, and rest of the companies will be included by 1st of October 2025. SEBI trading freeze rule applies only to designated persons. No sir, it is applying now to their immediate relatives as well. So answer is going to be 1, 2, 4 only. According to that, A option is absolutely the correct answer. Who all have given the correct answer? Very good, very good. Chandrika, Angel, Neha, Ankit, good. Maza aaya. That's good. Chalo. Now let's start the discussion for today's session. Guys, today I have 2 segments which we will be covering in this particular section. One is one of the RBI latest curriculum, RBI latest circular, which we will be discussing. After discussing the RBI latest circular, we will be moving ahead and we will be discussing those news which have a capacity to be asked in phase 1 as well. लेकिन जो पहला circular हम discuss करेंगे, it is a very, very, very important circular. Reason behind it has been in news from past 2 years, or I would say it has been in news from past 2 years, but ज़्यादा इसका जो inclusion हुआ, that is in past 1 year. उसके basis पे I am also expecting that a descriptive question can also be asked from the same topic. So I'll start the session, I'll discuss it, you will get to know what I'm trying to say. The news is RBI has officially recognized SRO for financial market. First of all, SRO means self-regulatory organization. Second point is we are talking about financial market. Now you must be confused. So financial market is regulated by SEBI or RBI? My answer would be both. In very simple terms, I would say money market is regulated by RBI, but the capital market, especially the stock market, it is regulated by SEBI. So it means RBI has the power to regulate the financial market, and for that regulation, or I would say for delivering better services under the category of financial market, RBI in April 2024 came up with a notification that if a company is willing to set up as or to operate as a self-regulatory organization for financial market regulated by RBI, please apply for it. So companies, they applied, but finally out of those all applications received, only one company has been recognized as the self-regulatory organization. So first, let's understand this news. What does this news say? Reserve Bank of India has officially recognize FIMDA. FIMDA stands for Fixed Income, Money Market and Derivative Association of India. I repeat, Fixed Income, Money Market and Derivatives Association of India as a self-regulatory organization for financial market. But which financial market? Sir, which is regulated by RBI. In August 2024, RBI has introduced the comprehensive framework for the recognition of SRO. What is this comprehensive framework? So comprehensive framework means RBI has come up with all the list of requirements. If a company wants to set up as or operate as self-regulatory organization, they need to fulfill certain criterias. They need to fulfill or they need to come up with certain objectives, they need to perform certain services. For that particular part, a comprehensive framework was introduced back in 2024, and on the basis of that particular framework, applications were received, and out of those received applications, FIMDA has been recognized. FIMDA has been recognized as SRO for the RBI regulated financial market. This is a very important question. The question is, FIMDA stands for, sir, it stands for Fixed Income Money Market and Derivative Association of India. Now, FIMDA is now officially the first entity to be recognized under the new SRO framework. So it has become the first entity to be recognized as SRO under the comprehensive framework for SROs, which have been introduced in August 2024. While this particular organization has been identified, this identification has been done by RBI. The registration of certificate has also been issued by RBI, which we can say that approval is given by RBI that you will be operating as an SRO. What is the aim behind this? Sir, aim behind this is to ensure standardized market practices, as well as in order to increase the transparency, this approval has been given. Got it guys? Simple, no rocket science. ठीक है, अब rocket science आएगा बीच में कैसे? सुनना ध्यान से, SRO जो term है ना, it's a very general term. It's a very general term. It is not only related to RBI. It is not only related to financial market. It is a very general term which basically says that the regulators of a particular sector, even the government which is responsible for regulating a particular sector, has the power to identify and provide certificate of registration to SROs, and these SROs, they will act as a mediator. For example, we have RBI, the overall regulator. It has recognized SRO. Now SRO will be trying its level best to help its member companies, to help its member entities to fulfill all the rules and regulations which are set by RBI, as well as SRO will promote the compliance of rules and regulations. Even SRO has the power to introduce certain rules and regulations for better operation of that given sector. Is this point clear? So, what kind of descriptive question can be asked in the examination? The question can be asked in this manner. Recently, RBI has appointed FIMDA as first SRO of RBI regulated financial market. Discuss in detail what is SRO and its nitty-gritties. If this kind of question is asked, it will be a static question. But this question has been derived from current affairs. Why it has been derived? Because we have studied SRO for account aggregators, we have studied SRO for NBFCs, we have studied SROs for different other organizations, for different other sectors, time to time, for which RBI has come up with the framework. So if RBI as well as the other regulatory bodies, they are promoting the term SRO, there is a great probability that it can be asked in the examination. अब अगर question SRO पे आया तो उस केस में आपको SRO को पहले define करना होगा. After defining SRO, you need to discuss the objectives of SRO. Then you need to discuss the I would say eligibility criteria of SRO. Then you need to discuss the operations, the responsibilities which are going to be performed by SROs, and in the end you need to write the benefits of setting up SROs. Is this point clear? Is this point clear? If this point is clear, just give me yes sir. Question कैसे आएगा और उस question को कैसे आपको deliver करना, दोनों चीजें आपको clear होनी चाहिए. ठीक है जी. अब इस क्वेश्चन को पहले इसका कंटेंट समझते हैं, पूरा कंटेंट पढ़ेंगे एंड एंड ऑफ द कंटेंट आई विल गिव यू अ ग्लिम्स कि अगर क्वेश्चन आया तो इस तरह से आपको क्वेश्चन को लिखना होगा. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, इफ समवन आस्क मी अबाउट दिस पर्टिकुलर न्यूज, देन आई वुड से आरबीआई is the legislative mandate. That means RBI is responsible as per the laws to regulate the interest rate market as well as the foreign exchange market. Now you must be wondering, sir, ये interest rate market क्या है? Interest rate market basically means the market where we decide the interest rate, and this interest rate is basically related to lending. We know that RBI is the regulator of banking sector. RBI regulates NBFCs, and banks as well as NBFCs, their core and traditional function is to provide loan. And RBI directly as well as indirectly control the lending rates. How RBI control the lending rates indirectly? With the help of monetary policy. How RBI controls the lending rate? Almost directly, not directly, almost directly, with the help of the methods which RBI come up from time to time basis, on the basis of which the financial institutes, they decide their lending rate. I'm talking about EBLR, external bench mark lending rate or MCLR, marginal cost of fund based lending rate, or base rate or BPLR, all these methods were given by whom? That is RBI. So RBI is directly as well as indirectly controlling the interest rates or the lending rates in the market with the help of these credit providing regulated entities. Now RBI के सबसे पहले पॉइंट पे बात करेंगे, what are the core operations of RBI? So the core operations of RBI is responsible for regulating money market, for overseeing the banking operations, for managing the credit supply as well as overall stability of the financial system. And because of these powers, RBI has come up with this framework ki sir, I come up with the framework, and on the basis of this particular framework you are asked to submit the application if you want to set up an SRO for RBI controlled financial market. इसके अलावा अगर मैं बात करूं, RBI regulates the financial institutions such as NBFCs, other payment companies and whatnot. Second point is, sir, RBI is the primary regulator of the interest rate market in India with the help of monetary policy, with the help of regulating the money market, setting the minimum interest rate, जो कि आज की डेट में इतने ज्यादा feasible term नहीं है, but earlier RBI was responsible to set the minimum interest rate below which the banks were not allowed to lend. And lastly, overseeing the financial institutions. Because of these functions of RBI, because of these powers of RBI, RBI is regulator of financial. RBI is the regulator of interest rate market. Last point is RBI is the regulator of money market. What is money market? So money market is a place where short-term instruments are traded. What I mean with the term short-term instruments? So the instruments which are valid for less than 1 year. Generally in the money market, the trading of debt instruments is done. And if I talk about these debt instruments, it includes treasury bills, it includes call money bill, notice money, it includes CBLO, as CBLO stands for collateralized borrowing and lending obligations. It even includes commercial paper, commercial bill, certificate of deposit. They all are the part of money market, and this money market is the segment under financial market. So one more point, sir, RBI is also the regulator of foreign exchange market. So if RBI is the regulator of foreign exchange market, then RBI has the power to set an SRO for forex market as well. So on the basis of this, I have shortlisted the RBI operations. Now as a part of mandate, Reserve Bank of India has been tasked, Reserve Bank of India को ये काम दिया गया है, has been tasked with the regulation and development and oversight of interest rate market, including government securities. If I ask you, who issue the government securities on the behalf of government? So it is issued by RBI. Ab RBI issues these government securities through auction, and if you want to purchase these government securities, you can participate in the auction, which is available for wholesale as well as retail investments. Banks को अगर गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी चाहिए, they also purchase from RBI. पब्लिक को चाहिए, we can also as a retail investor can purchase from RBI with the help of the scheme which has been introduced, where RBI has allowed the retail investors to purchase government securities in the primary market itself. Even RBI has appointed certain banks as an agent. On the behalf of RBI, those agents, they deliver the government securities to the public. Secondly, RBI is the regulator of money market, which include market for repo in government securities, which means when you purchase, when you sell the government securities on repo rate, example is liquidity adjustment facility, where RBI purchase government securities from banks against repo rate, which means if you want to borrow a loan from RBI, you can sell your government securities to RBI, against which RBI will give you the loan. But these are repurchasing agreements. Repurchasing agreement means the moment you pay back the entire principal as well as interest, you are liable to purchase back the same securities. So that is also the part. Secondly, we have corporate instruments, we have foreign exchange market, derivatives on interest rate, price, foreign exchange rates and credit. They all are the areas which are regulated by RBI. RBI is also responsible for the regulation of financial market infrastructure, including financial market benchmark for these markets. Please pay attention. RBI is responsible for all these operations according to only RBI Act? No sir, RBI has been given these powers under RBI Act 1934, under Payment and Settlement System Act 2007, under Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, under Government Securities Act 2006, as well as the Bilateral Netting of Qualified Financial Contracts Act 2020. According to these acts, These powers have been given to RBI, that RBI will be responsible for regulating, for developing as well as oversighting these markets. Is it clear till this point, guys? Is this clear till this point कि RBI क्या काम करता है? I have discussed over here what all tasks are performed by RBI and how RBI perform these tasks, or where or which all acts provide powers to the RBI for this particular system. Is it clear? When we talk about netting, it is basically related to settlement. Tushar, it is basically related to settlement. For example, we have gross settlement. Gross settlement means, Tushar, I give you 100 rupees. I myself take out 100 rupees from my wallet, hand it over to you, and you take those 100 rupees. This is gross settlement. One-on-one transaction is settled down. On the other side, Tushar, on daily basis, I am liable to give you 10,000 rupees. You are liable to pay me back 5,000. So rather than making the transaction every time, rather than making the settlement every time, at the end of the day, आपने मुझे 5,000 देने, I have to pay you 10,000 rather than transferring 10,000 to you and receiving 5,000 from you. It's better I just transfer that 5,000 rupees. This is known as net settlement. In case of NEFT, we go with net settlement, but in case of RTGS, we follow the gross settlement, where each and every transaction is settled one by one, other than NEFT, where the net settlement is done. I hope it is clear, Tushar. Moving on to the next point now. The next point says financial markets, it plays a really very important role in an economy. Why financial market is an important concept, why it is an important point to be discussed every time. The reason is, whenever we talk about financial market, it is the source of funds for our corporates. It is the source of funds for our government. It is the source of fund for the government departments. It is even the destination of the investors. समझ आ रही है बातें? There are two individuals. One is a company. Company need funds for expansion. This is the saver. He wants to invest his funds for profit. So now they can invest in the company, and company can hand over the financial instruments in return. And this transaction takes place where? Sir, it takes place in financial market. जितनी बड़ी financial market होगी, the more extended your financial market is, the more strong your financial market is, there is more and more liquidity available for the corporates, which will help them to expand at a higher rate. If your financial market is big, it is sufficient enough, it will fulfill all the requirements of government debts as well. So that is the reason financial market plays an important role in the growth and development of the economy, which facilitate efficient allocation of resources and sharing of risk. So if I am an owner of the company, I'm selling my shares to you. Basically, I'm not only raising funds from you, but also I'm sharing my risk with you. So that is also one of the important point of financial market. Reserve Bank of India undertake policy reforms and regulatory policies in active coordination with government and other stakeholders in order to develop safe and stable financial market which will provide efficient price discovery. अगर आप notice कर रहे होंगे, मैंने हर एक लाइन में उन वर्ड्स को हाईलाइट किया है जिन वर्ड्स को आपको ध्यान में रखना while writing a descriptive answer. These are the keywords which you should keep in mind while writing a descriptive answer. Otherwise, it's a news of 12 slides. It will be impossible for you to remember each and every point. What I have done is I have just highlighted the important words which you need to remember, and I call them as keywords. अगर इतना याद रहा, उसके around अगर आपने delivery कर दी in your descriptive answer, you are good to go. So I think you should like the session for these efforts. It takes a lot of time to do these kind of updates when you are framing a content. And if you think that yes, I'm going in the right direction, I'm really trying my level best to give you the best content, then I would surely look after, or I will surely look for a like in the comment section as well as on the video. Moving on to the next point. So the next point says, as a part of its approach, it seeks broad-based market. So why RBI is introducing this financial market self-regulatory organization? In order to ease access for the investors as well as the fundraisers, in order to enhance participation, facilitating innovation, protecting user and promoting fair conduct, which will be helpful for investor as well as fundraisers. Even RBI is looking forward for the growth of regulated entities in terms of number as well as scale. So with the time period, number as well as the scale of regulated entities which are operating in the financial market, they are increasing. undoubtedly. But on the other side, in the near future, this count is going to increase, this volume is going to increase, and in order to check, in order to maintain the requirements, RBI is seeking a helping hand, and that is known as SRO for financial market. Now comes the most important question कि सर कब से SRO कर रहे हो, बता तो दो आखिरकार SRO है क्या. तो अगर मुझसे कोई पूछेगा what is SRO, please pay attention. Sir, SRO is not a government entity. Very important. It is not a government entity. It's a non-government entity authorized to create and enforce industry standards and regulations. So SRO, first point, it is a non-governmental entity which has been authorized to create and enforce industry standards and regulations. They act as industry watchdog, ensure compliance with the established rules, and promote ethical behavior within the respective field. So what is their ultimate goal? So they will act as a watchdog. They will act as a watchdog. They will see how industry is performing, Once they check that industry is doing well, then along with this, they will be promoting the compliances that companies in that particular industry, in that particular sector should fulfill all the compliances. And lastly, it should check that whether this behavior is ethical or not. SROs, they are often granted authority by government agencies or through a law, allowing them to oversee the conduct of their members. If I talk about the key characteristics, SRO is a non-governmental organization, it is industry specific, and it will attract members from the same industry, and the oversight of the members of SRO will be done by the SRO itself. Moving on to the next point. The next point is, what are the benefits? Sir, it increases the efficiency of the organizations which are operating in that particular sector. Secondly, it will increase the industry expertise. How it will increase the industry expertise? Because these SROs, they also provide training to the organizations which are operating in that particular industry, so that their skill development can be done and they can operate in a better manner. Third point is, it is cost effective. How it is cost effective? Sir, RBI हर जगह पहुंच नहीं सकता, और अगर RBI wants to reach everywhere, then RBI has to increase its departments, RBI has to increase its employees. For that matter, it is applicable for all the regulatory bodies, which will be a cost affair for the government, for the regulator. So in order to avoid that, we can come up with SRO, which is obviously cost effective and it is beneficial for the public. क्योंकि पहले सिर्फ RBI was the regulator of a particular sector. Now we have one more regulator which is operating on the behalf of RBI and checking out the compliances are fulfilled or not. This will enhance public interest, this will enhance public safety, this will enhance public security, and that is the reason it is beneficial for the public. SROs, they are the vital part of the regulatory landscape. They play a critical role in ensuring fair and ethical business practices within various industries. Done guys. अगली बार अगर कोई पूछे, मान लो 3 मार्क का क्वेश्चन, 15 मार्क का आपका जो डिस्क्रिप्टिव है, उसमें 5 टर्म्स आ जाए, उनमें से एक टर्म हो राइट अ शॉर्ट नोट ऑन, फर्स्ट टर्म इज SRO. सो आई होप यू हैव अ कंटेंट where you can discuss what is SRO for 3 marker. This is the appropriate content which you need to deliver. अब आते हैं आगे. अगला पॉइंट आया सर, फ्रेमवर्क फॉर द रिकॉग्नाइजेशन ऑफ सेल्फ रेगुलेटरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन फाइनेंशियल मार्केट रेगुलेटेड बाय RBI वाज इंट्रोड्यूस. अब समझो जरा इस फ्रेमवर्क का मतलब क्या होता है. फ्रेमवर्क का मतलब है पूरे का पूरा, जैसे RBI, when RBI wants to hire an RBI Grade B officer, RBI comes up with the notification. Similarly, when RBI is planning to set up a new SRO, RBI will come up with the notification, and in that notification all the nitty-gritties will be mentioned. Who should be an SRO, what are the operations objectives of SRO, what are the eligibility criteria of SRO, what kind of test you need to pass, and if you pass this test, what kind of services you will be providing. So that entire detail which starts from application, what is the process of application, till the last step, that how the registration certificate will be given by RBI, that is mentioned under the framework for recognition of self-regulatory organization. शायद आपने एक term सुनी हो, omnibus. That is basically the broader term which says that From time to time, RBI will be setting up SROs for different sectors, for different departments, and in order to apply for an SRO, you need to go through with the framework of the respective SRO, and that framework should include certain criteria which I will be discussing. So I'll start with the first point. Framework for recognition of SRO in financial market, which is regulated by RBI, is based on the standard. And what is that standard? So standard is Omnibus Framework for recognizing SRO for regulated entities issued by RBI, and it was issued on 21st March 2024. RBI ने कहा कि भैया मैं अपने different regulatory organizations के लिए, regulated entities के लिए, I will be setting up different SROs, and these different SROs will be operating in a particular sector. For example, SRO for financial market, SRO for banks. But the way I will come up with the notification regarding the SRO, where I am inviting the applications, I will be coming up with the entire framework. I will be coming up with the entire notification, and that notification will include what all? So that notification will include the objective of SRO. It will include the eligibility criteria of SRO. It will include the functions which are need to be performed by SRO. It will include the governance standard. Governance standard मतलब कितने board of directors होने चाहिए, कौन board of director हो सकता है, कितने independent board of directors होंगे, that comes under the governance standards, and what are the criteria on the basis of which SRO will be attracting the organizations to become their members. So all these details will be mentioned in the framework which will be given by RBI, and RBI has given this framework for financial market in 2024. अब उस framework को जब present किया गया, many applications were received, and out of that FIMDA has received the registration of certificate. That means that FIMDA has been recognized as the first SRO of financial market. यहाँ तक points clear हो रहे हैं, तो give me yes sir. SRO will be a company. SRO is an entity. SRO will be an entity which will be set up, and that entity will be set up by the funding done from the members itself. SRO का जो working है, the way you both have asked the question, Abhinav as well as Girish, you are asking me what will be the source of funds for SROs, how these SROs are going to work, what will be the source of funds. They will work on the same criteria as I am at work. कैसे? If you want to be my member, you need to give the membership fees, and with the help of that membership fees, I will be running my organization. शिवांगी, अगर मैं कहूं ओमनीबस फ्रेमवर्क का मतलब क्या है, इट बेसिकली मीन्स बेटा दैट आरबीआई ने एक स्टैंडर्ड दे दिया. आरबीआई ने कहा कि अगर फ्यूचर में मैं अपने बैंक्स के लिए, अपनी एनबीएफसीज के लिए, अपनी फॉरेन एक्सचेंज मार्केट के लिए, अपनी मनी मार्केट के लिए, इफ आई एम प्लानिंग टू सेट अप एन एसआरओ, आई विल कम अप विद अ नोटिफिकेशन व्हिच इज कॉल्ड एज फ्रेमवर्क. That notification will include certain things, and those certain points which will be included for sure in all the SRO frameworks will include, पहला objective क्या है SRO का, second point is what will be the functions of SRO, eligibility criteria, governance standard and membership criteria. Is this point clear, Shivangi? Is this point clear? The major work of SRO is to perform on the behalf of regulatory organization, so that this organization can become a helping hand for the supreme regulatory authority of that particular sector. Second is it will work on ground where day-to-day transactions will be watched, and if anything wrong is done, any compliance related to the rules and regulations is not fulfilled, then they can challenge that task, they can challenge that ट्रांजेक्शन डायरेक्टली टू द रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी सो दैट द एक्शन कैन बी टेकन. अगर आरबीआई चेक करेगा, हो सकता है आरबीआई क्वार्टरली रिव्यू करे और मे बी ईयरली रिव्यू करे. सो इन ऑर्डर टू अवॉइड दैट डिले वी हैव अ हेल्पिंग हैंड, दैट इज एसआरओ. वी हैव एन हेल्पिंग हैंड, दैट इज एसआरओ. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया. मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, द गाइडलाइंस contained in the framework are the minimum requirements. So whatever guidelines we are publishing, they are the minimum requirements, and all the SROs, they are encouraged to do their best practice even beyond the framework, so that the better services can be provided in the given sector. Now, I'm starting with the first point, that is the objectives of SRO for financial market which is regulated by RBI. But trust me guys, ट्रस्ट मी, मेजॉरिटी ऑब्जेक्टिव्स आर सेम, बस सिर्फ और सिर्फ नाम का फर्क पड़ेगा। ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? अगर आप एक रेगुलेटर है एंड यू आर अपॉइंटिंग अनदर रेगुलेटर ऑन योर बिहाफ विच विल proactively work on your behalf and you will be the supreme authority, in that case objective will be same कि भैया जो rules है, जो compliances उन्हें fulfill कराओ, कोई माल practice ना करो, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा members को include करो so that you can perform in an efficient manner. So these objectives are going to be same for all the frameworks which are going to come and which have already released for the SROs. First is promote a culture of compliance among the members, which will and also encourage the progressive practices and conventions. Special attention must be given to extending the guidelines and support particularly to the smaller entity. Special attention dena smaller entities ko, because it has always seen that smaller entities, they are not in a position to fulfill all the rules and regulations, and therefore a special attention is required which will be given by SRO. And lastly, SRO will frame and implement comprehensive code of conduct. What is code of conduct? Rules and regulations according to which the organizations or its members are going to work for better compliance fulfillment, for better fulfillment of RBI or regulatory or the supreme regulatory authority norms. The next objective is it act as a collective voice of its members. If anything, any issue is going on and these members, they want to address RBI कि भैया ये वाली जो आपकी policy है ये सही नहीं चल रही, we are witnessing loss because of these policies. So in that particular case, SRO will stand in front of RBI and bring the voice of its members in front of RBI so that the required changes can be done. Second is, it also includes the voices of government authorities and the other statutory and regulatory bodies required or related to that particular sector. It is expected that SRO functions above self-interest. So SRO is not working for self-interest. It will address the larger concerns of the sector and financial system so that better services can be provided, and it will ensure all its members equal and transparent treatment will be given to all its members, which is the second objective of an SRO. Third objective is it will examine the guidelines and best practices by the international standard setting authorities. For example, in case of bank, we have BIS. BIS has come up with certain international standards. After consultation with RBI, अगर RBI कहे यार सही है, इंडिया में भी we should implement that rather than coming up with the firm rule. RBI will say that no, everyone should follow this. No, first RBI will ask the SRO, concern your members, link to your members, ask them to follow these international standards, and once they will start following, then as an RBI I will give the rule and it will be easy to be implemented. So that is the second point. The fourth point is collect and share the relevant sectoral information and share that information with RBI so that it will help RBI in making the further policies. Foster innovation. It will promote innovation and facilitate introduction of new products within the regulatory framework by Reserve Bank of India. Not only this, SRO, they should promote innovation as well so that new products can be introduced. Next point is it will promote a culture of research and development, which is very much required in the current fast changing world. Last point is it will promote the adaptation of best practices to ensure transparent and fair pricing, which we call it as code of conduct, which will be set up by SRO and it should be followed by all its members. It should be followed by all its members. Will the appointment done from within the organization? Means, check your question again, Shaurya. क्या कहना चाह रहे हो? किसकी appointment? Members क्या है? If you are talking about these members, in that context, I would say, let's say, an SRO is set up for banks. Then banks, they will become the members of SRO. Banks will become the members of SRO. Banks, they are also related to share market, so there will be a role of SEBI as well. It will not become the member, but there will be a role. Banks are owned by government, so there will be a role of government also. So these are the stakeholders: government, other regulatory bodies, and the members are the stakeholders of a particular SRO. That is what has been mentioned on the screen over here. This is what is mentioned on the screen: members, government authorities, and other regulatory bodies. I hope it is clear now. If it is clear, give me yes sir, so that I can move ahead. Shaurya, I think आप यही पूछ रहे थे. Now, after objectives, I am talking about the responsibilities. What are the responsibilities which are performed by SRO? The first responsibility is which I already discussed. भैया एक code of conduct बनाओ, मतलब एक rule book बनाओ, and that rule book should be followed by all the members for better delivery of the services. Second is develop a reasonable and non-discriminatory membership fees. So it should be a reasonable and non-discriminatory or non-discriminatory membership fee, which means fees will not be same for everyone. It will depend on the size of the member. For example, SBI is becoming the member. Along with that, we have a very small bank like Yes Bank. It is also becoming a member. The membership fees of SBI will always be greater than the membership fees which is going to be paid by Yes Bank because of the size of the organization. But after paying the membership fees in front of SRO, they both are same. In front of SRO, both are same. SRO ये नहीं सोचेगा SBI ने फीस ज्यादा दी है तो SBI को ज्यादा हेल्प करे, नहीं. Fees कितनी दी है, that depends on your size. But the moment you have paid fees, it is membership fees, and you will be providing equivalent services to all your members as per this particular responsibility, as per the point which has been mentioned under, the second responsibility of SRO framework. The third responsibility is all the operations will be done at utmost faith. That means if you are sharing any information, if you are receiving any information, that should be done on utmost faith. There should be no, I would say, chalaki nahi honi chahiye. There should be no cunningness. Exact information should be shared. Disseminate sector specific information. So these SROs, they will be sharing the information of the sector, that how the sector is performing through periodicals, that means through weekly reports, through monthly reports, through pamphlets, through magazines and other material which will be available for the public, and public can go through with that material in order to understand how well this particular sector is performing. Moving on to the next point, it will establish grievance redressal and dispute resolution framework. That means for its members, if there is any dispute between the two members, they can directly come to SRO and their redressal will be done, their issues will be resolved at SRO itself. Promote knowledge of statutory and regulatory provisions in order to provide as well as exchange the expertise and experiences among the members. It may also arrange training programs. It will also arrange training programs for skill development and awareness program which will increase the efficiency of the members. Is this point clear? Means, sir, we can say that if any financial market organization has to reach RBI, then it directly can't no, that is not the case. They can easily contact RBI, but if they are members of SRO, then they can even approach to RBI through SRO if there is a common interest involved. ठीक है जी? Sir, then all these stakeholders together will make SRO. ठीक है, इस point को answer देता हूँ Girish. The point is SRO application, when it comes up, obviously it will involve certain stakeholders that yes, we collectively, मान लो banks हैं तो 5 बैंक मिले और उन्होंने मिलकर कहा कि ठीक है यार, let's set up an SRO which will be helping us in order to avoid penalties which is going to be charged by RBI when we do not fulfill the compliance. अगर हमारे पास एक beforehand check होगा, it will increase our efficiency. So 5 members, they come forward and they come up with the application. If the application is accepted, then along with these 5 members who are, if you want to say they are the owners, you can say that they are the owners. And if they are investing, they are not investing for profit purpose, they are just investing for the better implementation of RBI rules and regulations in order to avoid any kind of loss on me because of the penalty which can be charged if I am not fulfilling the RBI norms. ठीक, but ज़्यादा जो working expenses होंगे वो कहाँ से आएंगे? So they are going to come through the membership fees, and obviously membership fees will be a regular membership fees which you will be paying maybe on yearly basis, and those funds will be utilized for running that SRO. Clear हो गया जी? समझ आ गया point? I guess इससे ज़्यादा डिटेल में ना आपको कोई पढ़ाएगा ना आपने कभी पढ़ा होगा. लिख के दे सकता हूँ, अगर SRO पर इतनी डिटेल्ड और इतनी क्रिस्टल क्लियर वीडियो कहीं मिल जाए तो कमेंट सेक्शन में बताना जरूर. मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. Sir, if I talk about the last responsibility is not only improving the skills of the members of the organizations who are providing the services, you also improve the knowledge of whom? So you will also improve the knowledge of the public so that they can utilize the services in a better manner. Then these are the responsibilities of SRO, and these responsibilities are towards the members. But SRO is also responsible to the regulator. अरे भाई जिसने बनाया है उसके तरफ भी तो आपकी कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होगी, और वो कौन सी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है? सो द फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टुवर्ड्स द रेगुलेटर इज इन्फॉर्म Reserve Bank of India about the developments in the sector on regular basis through reports and all, and even report the RBI in case of any act of misconduct or violation. अगर मैं RBI की जगह यहाँ पे सुप्रीम रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी लिख दूं तो भी एक ही बात है, दैट विल बी अ जनरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ एन SRO, बट यहाँ पे स्पेसिफिक है क्योंकि RBI की बात कर रहे हैं, फाइनेंशियल मार्केट की बात कर रहे हैं, तो आई हैव रिटन RBI. तो अगर कोई वायलेशन होगा, कोई मिसकंडक्ट होगा बाय द मेंबर, इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस इट कैन डायरेक्टली इन्फॉर्म RBI एंड RBI कैन टेक द रिक्वायर्ड एक्शन. सो इट्स अ प्रोएक्टिव मेजर taken by RBI in order to avoid things to be late, in order to avoid things to be sorted when they are late. That is a point. ठीक है जी. Second point here we have is carry out work assigned. So you have to perform all the works which are assigned by your supreme authority, that is RBI. Submit annual report to RBI, and you have to submit this annual report with RBI within 6 months of the completion of the financial year. गाइस ये जो मैंने टर्म्स हाईलाइट की है, रिपीट कर रहा हूं, दीज टर्म्स आर द कीवर्ड्स. इफ अ डिस्क्रिप्टिव क्वेश्चन इज आस्क्ड, यू हैव टू इंक्लूड दीज कीवर्ड्स, और अगर कोई ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन बना SRO से, इट विल बी बेस्ड ऑन दीज हाईलाइटेड वर्ड्स ओनली. क्योंकि क्वेश्चन बन सकता है, क्या SRO इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू सबमिट रिपोर्ट टू इट्स रेगुलेटर at what frequency? Answer will be annually. And what is the timeline? So within 6 months of the completion of financial year. Direct MCQ question can be framed from this particular point itself. और जब आप एग्जामिनेशन से वापस आएंगे तो बहुत सारे लोग कहते हैं पता नहीं यार RBI ने क्वेश्चन कहां से पूछ लिया, SRO का क्वेश्चन था, पूरा SRO पढ़ के गया था, लेकिन ये तो पता ही नहीं था कि रिपोर्ट कब सबमिट होनी है. लेकिन अब आपको पता है रिपोर्ट कब सबमिट होगी, क्या टाइमलाइंस है, क्या टाइम फ्रेम है. यू आर अवेयर ऑफ ऑल ऑफ दिस. मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. सर, SRO is responsible to engage in periodic interaction with RBI and would look at a larger picture of industry sector in offering its views, inputs and suggestions. So आप time to time interact करेंगे with RBI to come up with your suggestions for the sector. It will provide comprehensive stakeholder feedback. फीडबैक ऑन कंसल्टेशंस, ड्राफ्ट सर्कुलर्स शेयर्ड बाय RBI. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ आप कंप्लेन करोगे अबाउट योर मेंबर्स, यू विल आल्सो कम इन फ्रंट एंड यू से कि RBI ये जो आपने फ्रेमवर्क बनाया, ये जो आपने ड्राफ्ट दिया, इट इज नॉट एप्रोप्रिएट, यू शुड चेंज दिस or you should add this, you should do this, ताकि we can have a better implementation of our targets, or we have a better implementation of our rules and regulations. Discharge such other functions and abide by such other directions as specified by RBI. This is very important. अगर RBI को लगा that there is a requirement to check the SRO, RBI has full power that RBI can inspect the SRO whenever required, और जब RBI check करने आएगा, RBI can demand for any document and you cannot reject. So that is also the responsibility of SRO towards the regulator. Next point is eligibility criteria. Sir, eligibility criteria में कुछ criteria तो general है. कैसे general है? You should be capable, then only you will be allowed to apply for SRO. You should have adequate amount of infrastructure so that you can implement it. If you don't have the infrastructure, you should have the capacity to build that infrastructure. This is general, but there is one more criteria related to the net worth. I will be discussing it quickly. So applicant set up as a not-for-profit company, already discussed. Applicant minimum net worth should be 10 crores, very important. It should have the ability to create the infrastructure so that the services can be provided. Shareholding of SRO should be diversified. Shareholding जो SRO की है, that should be diversified. Entity shall hold 10% or more of its paid up share capital. So that means no entity, sorry ये डार्क करना भूल गया मैं, आप डार्क कर लेना. इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर एक SRO है, SRO के जो शेयर होल्डर्स हैं, those shareholders, the creators, the initial investors, they must hold maximum or they must hold below 10% of shareholding as a single entity. That means bare minimum you will need 10 entities to set up an SRO, but it can be more than that. These are the shareholders, members नहीं, शेयर होल्डर्स जिन्होंने बनाया, जिन्होंने इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट की, जिन्होंने इनिशियली अप्लाई किया, उन्होंने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेट किया. अब वर्किंग एक्सपेंस के लिए वी विल यूज द मेंबरशिप फीस, बट फॉर सेटिंग अप वी नीड द इनिशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट व्हिच इज डन बाय द शेयर होल्डर्स. बट शेयर होल्डर्स का जो शेयर है दैट शुड नॉट बी मोर देन 10% of a single entity. Applicant must ensure that the membership of the SRO is voluntary. That means you cannot force any regulated entity कि you should become my member, otherwise RBI will cancel your license. ऐसा नहीं है, it's voluntary. If I am a company which is operating under financial market, I am regulated by RBI. If I want, then only I will join SRO as a member, otherwise I can ignore. No one can force me. Last point is, applicant must have adequate representation with a good mix of members. So you should have a good mix of members from a particular sector. And if RBI feel that the SRO do not possess good volume of members, or RBI feels that the members of SRO are not much diversified, in that particular case RBI can even cancel the license of SRO giving a time span of 2 years. तो 2 साल तक RBI watch करेगा. If 2 सालों में भी SRO has not been successful to have members, and that too in a diversified nature, then in that particular case RBI has the authority to cancel the license. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया, समझ आ गया. Last point, applicant and its directors, they must demonstrate professional competence. Obviously sir, अगर आप एक company है or you want to become an SRO, you must be competent, your directors must be competent, then only this application will be approved. Applicant must be fit and proper for grant of recognition. You should fulfill all the criteria. आपके अगेंस्ट कोई केस नहीं होना चाहिए, जो इन्वेस्टर्स हैं उनके ऊपर कोई ऐसे इश्यूज नहीं होने चाहिए जिससे आरबीआई को रिस्क लगे. एंड इफ आरबीआई फील्स द रिस्क, आरबीआई मे रिजेक्ट द एप्लीकेशन फॉर श्योर. गवर्नेंस फ्रेमवर्क का मतलब है हाउ द कंपनी इज गोइंग टू बी गवर्न, हाउ द एसआरओ इज गोइंग टू बी गवर्न. इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस SRO shall be professionally managed and it should have suitable provision in its article of association या फिर जो इसका registration हुआ है. When SRO was framed as a company, at the time of framing as a company, all these structures related to the company which are mentioned at the time of setting up, that should be appropriate. And it should provide for the manner in which board of directors and governing body would function. So how they are going to function, that should be clearly mentioned in the registration done by the SRO. Next point which is important, articles of association and bylaws shall also clearly give the criteria for admission, exclusion, suspension, readmission of the members. So on what basis members will be included, on what basis they will be excluded, when they can be suspended, when they can be re-allowed to be the member, all these criteria are need to be mentioned under the article of association itself. At least, very important, mark kar lena, this is a question which has a potential to be asked in objective. At least one third of the members shall be independent directors. At least one third of the members in the board shall be independent directors, and there should be rotation of the board of directors in terms of their powers, in terms of their responsibility. So rotation of the directors is very important. You need to rotate them for different positions, for different departments, for different powers, so that an appropriate functions can be performed. Any change if you are doing in the composition of the board of director, you need to inform RBI, otherwise RBI can challenge you if you are not informing. Last but not the least, SRO shall ensure comply with the provisions of the relevant act. SRO shall ensure all the provisions as per the acts and circulars, guidelines, rules and regulations which are given by RBI on time to time basis. Application for recognition, remember that anyone who is capable, who feels that you can apply for it. But RBI has the power to reject the application, but RBI will not reject the application straightforward. Straightforward rejection nahi hoga. Any application which is not complete in all aspects or does not fulfill the criteria, RBI has a power to reject it. However, before rejecting any such application, RBI give an opportunity to the applicant to address such objections within 30 days from the date of dispatch of intimation by RBI. तो RBI कहता है कि भैया अगर आप पूरे के पूरे एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया को फुलफिल करते हैं, आइए अप्लाई कीजिए. एंड व्हाट आर द प्रोसीजर्स ऑफ अप्लाइंग, दैट इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट, मैंने उसे इग्नोर कर दिया. कैसे अप्लाई करो, कहां जाओ, क्या प्रोसेस होगा, नो दैट इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट. लेकिन आरबीआई क्या रिजेक्ट कर सकता है एप्लीकेशन को? यस, बट आरबीआई विल गिव 30 days विंडो कि भैया दिस इज माय ऑब्जेक्शन, इफ यू कैन ओवरकम दिस ऑब्जेक्शन आई विल अलाउ यू टू बी एन एसआरओ, अदरवाइज योर एप्लीकेशन इज रिजेक्टेड. सो दिस 30 days वाला क्लॉज इज इंपॉर्टेंट. Where the applicant is deemed suitable, Reserve Bank of India will provide letter of recognition. अगर आरबीआई को लगा कि हाँ भैया ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन सही है, इसे एसआरओ का लाइसेंस देना चाहिए, then RBI will provide the letter of recognition under which it will be recognized that from today onwards you will be operating as an SRO. Last but not the least is conditions for the grant of recognition. Information or particulars furnished by recognized SRO shall be true and not misleading in any aspect. तो जो भी आप डेटा एप्लीकेशन के समय सबमिट करेंगे, उसके बाद when you get the license as an SRO or you get the permission as an SRO, then also you should publish, you should share all the appropriate information. If any information is not up to the mark, then RBI again holds the power to reject the license, to reject the existence. Conditions for grant of recognition, as I said, you need to fulfill the criterias. This is important. Reserve Bank may revoke the recognition granted to SRO if it deems the functioning of the SRO to be determined by public interest, or SRO is found to be conducting activities which are not in conformity with the objectives of SRO. तो अगर आपने कुछ भी ऐसा किया जो कि आपके रूल्स, आपकी पावर्स, आपके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, आपकी एलिजिबिलिटी, आपके एफिशिएंसी, आपके टारगेट्स के अगेंस्ट है, then RBI holds the power that RBI can cancel your registration of or letter of recognition. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear, everyone? If this point is clear, just give me yes, sir. If this point is clear, just give me yes, sir. तो अगली बार अगर एसआरओ से रिलेटेड कोई क्वेश्चन आएगा तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि अब आप गलत कर पाओगे. तो सबसे पहले जब एसआरओ से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन आएगा, यू विल बी गिविंग द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एसआरओ. आफ्टर गिविंग द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एसआरओ, यू विल डिस्कस द ओमनीबस. ओमनीबस में क्या क्या चीजें हैं जो एसआरओ के फ्रेमवर्क में आरबीआई पब्लिश करेगा. देन आफ्टर डिस्कसिंग दोज एरियाज व्हिच आरबीआई नीड टू पब्लिश इन द फ्रेमवर्क, देन यू विल डिस्कस ऑल ऑफ देम वन बाय वन. यू विल डिस्कस द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ एसआरओ. आफ्टर डिस्कसिंग द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, यू विल डिस्कस द responsibilities of SRO towards members as well as towards regulators. Then you will discuss the eligibility criteria. Then you will discuss, after eligibility criteria, you discuss the governance framework of the SROs. After governance framework of the SRO, you discuss the application process, in which you just mention this point. That is more than sufficient. And you need to discuss the conditions for the grant of recognition, and RBI has the full power to cancel your letter of recognition. समझ आया guys? मजा आया? If it is clear, समझ आया हो, everything is fine, give me yes sir. If everything is fine, give me yes sir. ठीक है. Okay. Guys, do you have energy? Shall I discuss rest of the news today, or should I discuss it in the next session? I have few more news which are very small, tiny news which have the capacity to be asked in phase 1. If you are willing, I'll discuss it. If you think that no, we can discuss in the next session, we can do that. If you want to cover this much only and you need to revise it, you can say me yes sir. बेटा ओमनीबस का मतलब यार सुनो ध्यान से, भरद्वाज सुनो. ओमनीबस का मतलब है आरबीआई इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू कम अप विद द नोटिफिकेशन. उस नोटिफिकेशन में क्या क्या होगा, उस नोटिफिकेशन में क्या क्या होगा, दैट इज क्लियरली मेंशन अंडर नो ओमनीबस. तो ओमनीबस इज द फ्रेमवर्क फॉर जनरेटिंग दी और फॉर रिलीजिंग दी फ्रेमवर्क. समझ आई बात? फ्रेमवर्क फॉर रिलीजिंग दी फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ एसआरओ. एसआरओ का फ्रेमवर्क क्या है? कंडीशंस, दैट इज दी नोटिफिकेशन. कि नोटिफिकेशन में सब कुछ दे दिया, कौन एसआरओ बन सकता है, कैसे बनेगा, क्या नहीं, क्या और क्या क्या उस नोटिफिकेशन में होगा. ये किसमें दिया गया था? ओमनीबस फ्रेमवर्क में. कि आरबीआई ने कहा कि अब अगर मैं किसी भी सेक्टर के लिए जिसका मैं रेगुलेटर हूं, अगर मैं उसके लिए एसआरओ की एप्लीकेशन इनवाइट करूंगा, देन आई विल बी फॉलोइंग दीज गाइडलाइंस. क्लियर हो गया? और जब वो गाइडलाइंस आती है तो उनमें वही, जब वो फ्रेमवर्क एक्चुअली में आता है, जब वो नोटिफिकेशन एक्चुअली में आता है, तो वो गाइडलाइंस फॉलो की जाती है. दैट इज ओमनीबस. आई गेस इट्स फाइन. ठीक है, डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. If you are up for it, I am ready. Let's quickly discuss. The news says Bhutan has introduced world's first national cryptocurrency tourism payment system. क्या है ये? So Bhutan ने इंट्रोड्यूस किया है वर्ल्ड का पहला नेशनल क्रिप्टो करेंसी टूरिज्म पेमेंट सिस्टम, और ये जो सिस्टम इनिशिएट किया गया दैट इज इन कोलैबोरेशन विद Binance Pay, which is a subsidiary of Binance Holding Limited, and DK Bank of Bhutan, which is Bhutan's first fully fledged digital bank. तो एक है आपका Binance Pay और दूसरा है आपका DK Bank of Bhutan. इन दोनों ने मिलकर एक प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया, और उस प्लेटफॉर्म की मदद से इफ यू आर विजिटिंग भूटान यू कैन मेक योर payments in Bhutan with the help of cryptocurrency, which means Binance Pay. If I first jump to this term Binance Pay, so Binance Pay को आप imagine करो like a phone pay. Just imagine an application like a phone pay. I'll add or I'll help you to imagine this. This is what I'm trying to say. So this is an application. You log into this application Binance Pay. You fulfill the KYC, know your customer norms. After fulfilling that, then you can credit your cryptocurrency into Binance Pay. अब वो जो cryptocurrency you are going to credit, you will be crediting from your spot, and from the spot you are crediting your cryptocurrency, and that cryptocurrency which you have credited in this particular wallet of Binance Pay can be used to make payments to different users, to different entities and in different cryptocurrencies. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि अगर आपने Binance Pay में एक बिटकॉइन क्रेडिट किया but you want to pay in different cryptocurrencies, you can do that. How you can receive the payment? Same, जैसे आप QR code share करते हो WhatsApp पे, here also you can share the QR code, or you can share the transaction, you can share the ID, user ID, and on the basis of that user ID you can receive the funds as well as you can pay the funds. Lekin here the user ID as well as this, I would say we can call it as transaction receive or payment ID, or the QR code is not general, it is different for different receivables, it is different for different payments. Now if you are lending in Bhutan, then there is no need to carry dollars or Bhutanese currency with you. If you have cryptocurrency in your spot account, from your spot account transfer that cryptocurrency into Binance Pay, and with the help of that Binance Pay application you can make the transactions by scanning the QR code, or maybe the codes which are shared to you, or maybe the customer IDs which are shared to you, and you can make the payment. And that too you can make the payment in different cryptocurrencies in which it is demanded. So that is the news. So let's conclude this. This initiative enables travelers to use cryptocurrency for service payments, promoting ease of transaction and advancing financial inclusion throughout their visit to Bhutan. Key features are tourists with Binance account. How you can open an account? Download the app, fulfill your KYC, your account is open. Over 100 cryptocurrencies including Bitcoin, Binance Coin, United States Dollar Coin, to pay for airline ticket, visa fees in Bhutan, hotel booking in Bhutan, monument entries in Bhutan, tour guides in Bhutan, or local purchases in Bhutan, you can pay in cryptocurrency with the help of Binance Pay. Next point is QR code based payments are allowed. That means system uses static and dynamic. Static, as I said, which is common, and it can be dynamic, which is transaction specific codes for real time transaction. Second is cryptocurrency payments are initially converted into Bhutanese currency, that is Bhutan's official currency, handed by DK Bank, ensuring vendors receive stable payout. मतलब क्या हुआ? So Binance Pay से आपने payment की in the form of cryptocurrency. The payment which you have done in the form of cryptocurrency, that will reach to DK Bank, and DK Bank will convert that cryptocurrency into Bhutanese currency, और भूटान की जो currency है, that is, let's say Bhutanese R, इसको BR कर देता हूँ. This is the Bhutan's currency. So bank will convert it into Bhutan's currency, and this Bhutan currency will be credited into the account of merchant. तो इसका मतलब merchant should also use cryptocurrency. ये जरूरी नहीं है. Even if the merchant is not using the cryptocurrency, you can make the payment in cryptocurrency, but the merchant will receive the payment in the local Bhutanese currency. That is the benefit of this particular initiative. Over 1,000 Bhutanese businesses, including those in remote regions, they have adopted the system, enabling participation in the global $3 trillion cryptocurrency market, which will not only enhance tourism, it will also provide them It will increase tourism. Tourism will increase. There will be no friction, no transaction fees for the international travel. And even if I am in Bhutan, if I can receive funds, if I can receive funds in Bhutani currency, but my sender, my payer is paying me in a cryptocurrency, that is possible, then I can make a transaction all around the globe. So in that particular case, it will promote globalization. That means Bhutanese merchant, they can now engage with global digital finance ecosystem very easily. Is it clear, everyone? Sir, is there any minimum requirement? Yes, 10 crores as already discussed, Amit, as already discussed. I guess you are still occupied with SRO. Let's stop over here. I'll not discuss rest of the news. That will be discussed in the next session. Nothing to worry. But I hope you must have enjoyed the session today. If you have enjoyed the session, give me yes, sir. And I will be sharing the PDF of this session on my Telegram channel. You can join this Telegram channel with the help of your QR code. So QR code is not only helping you to make the payments in rupees. In Bhutan, it is helping you to make the payment in cryptocurrency. And in my class, it is helping you to join my Telegram channel. So scan this code, join the Telegram channel, and I will be sharing the PDF soon. ठीक है जी. वीकली क्लासेस होती है मेरी ऐप पर, आप एप्लीकेशन पर ज्वाइन कीजिए. ठीक है. एनी अदर डाउट? ठीक है. डन. Yes. Thank you, Manish sir. Thank you so much for joining the session. So Manish sir is also live in the chat, guys. Say hello to Manish sir. So thank you so much, sir, for being present over here. And he's asking you all, guys, to share the session. So don't forget to like and share the session. मेरी तो सुनते नहीं हो, but I'm pretty sure you will follow the instructions given by your favorite sir. So do follow his instructions and do share the session. Thank you so much for joining, guys. We'll catch you in the next session. Bye-bye. Take care. Good luck. God bless you all. Bye.